Well, welcome to my channel. I wanted to talk today first about the DNA knot. DNA is like a cobra, but only half a cobra. Now that's the full cobra. Yeah, as you can see, it's attached to a Christmas sort of dangling thing, and that's why I started making these DNA or helixes. So what we're going to look at today is firstly the single DNA. Yeah, it's twisting round once. Also the double DNA. Looks really sweet, doesn't it? That blue and pink. Again on another dangler. But let's look at this one. So we have the single DNA there, and we have the double DNA below it in the orange and yellow. Going down further, we have orange, yellow and red in the triple DNA, which I hope to show people how to do today or in this session. And then I've gone on to doing a 4 orange, yellow, red and mauve. Don't know whether I'll actually show that in this particular tut, but we'll see. Now, what should we say about the DNA? DNA, obviously, the look of it depends on whether, well, the dimensions, i.e. dimensions of the cord. This is gutted 2mm. And the core, you can see I've got a pencil there, it's about 8mm wide pencil. So that looks completely different to this look. Fair enough. This DNA or helix is going down once and then I've returned back up, so it's twice over. Yeah, I love this one. It really is nice. But yeah, this one has a core of 2, well, you can see the 2mm cord there, it doubled up, goes through there. Yeah, just comes round at the bottom there. Yeah, so the core is minimal. The cord is about a 1mm cord, so you get a nice fine DNA or helix. If you look at this one, well, we've done a tri DNA. This is in 550, again on the pencil, but looks completely different to these. Yeah, so it's a matter of dimensions really. The thicker the core, the thicker the cord, the bigger it looks. With this one, yeah, if I'd had a thinner core, it would look different again. As you can see, with the tri knot, leaves quite large gaps down the middle, and I started to wonder how it would look if I was to fill in those gaps. Now you can see that we got 3 cords there of 550, 3 cords over here of 550. So what would it take to actually fill in there? Rather than 3, what about a 4 or a 5 corded DNA? Would it fill in the whole thing to make one bulk? So I had a go at something like that and came up with this bracelet that I made. It was just an exercise really. I used, how many did I put on here? 4, I think. Yeah, grey, orange, brown and white. Now, there's still 1 gap there, so I should have done a 5. But I just mentioned this because, I mean, obviously this core is 2 pieces of 550, and I now know that it would take 5 corded DNA to go around that core. That's about the only way that you can actually find out is by testing it, yeah? But it didn't turn out too bad. So what we're going to do first is just go through and make an ordinary DNA. I won't be going backwards and forwards like this one, although it changes the look once again. I mean, that's one go through. Sorry about that. Yeah, that is the proper DNA, just going from top to bottom. This is, I'm loath to call it a double DNA, because a double DNA is two swirls, where this has been started there, went down, went back up. We're just going to do a single DNA like so, then go on to show a double DNA, and then a triple DNA. So I'll get myself ready and come back to you. So we're going to do a single DNA on this black pencil. The cord, well, it's not even cord, it's string actually, just something I bought from a DIY shop. It's about 1.5 to 2 mil, I would say 2 mil. So what we're going to do is actually tie. You're going to have to bear with me, I'm looking for a screen, but we're going to pass the cord. Let's make sure we've got the right lengths. Yeah, got both about the right lengths. So we've halved it and put it behind the pencil. We're going to loop the left hand side over the pencil. This one's going to go round the cord, under the pencil and up through. Everybody, well, most people know this as a cobra, yeah? Sorry about that, can't quite see what I'm doing, but so we've got the beginning of a cobra. So we'll tighten that up a bit, yeah. And you've got a telltale knot onto one side like a cobra, and you would then go, you would work off that knot. You would go this side, over and under, if you want to continue the cobra. But we've got to knot that side. We put the left hand loop over that way to achieve that knot on the right hand side. We're going to carry on and do that again. On the right hand side, in fact, we're going to tie all of our knots on the right hand side throughout this tutorial. You could tie them all on the left hand side, but you would have to keep that going. I'm going to cut off in a minute and carry on doing some of this, so that the tutorial isn't miles long sort of thing. But can you see we're actually starting to make a twist there in our single DNA? All we're doing is going across the pencil with the left hand side cord, getting hold of the right hand side cord, going over the top of it, under the pencil and up through. Yeah. I'll do one more with you, and then I'll do several offline so you can see the effect that it actually gives. So over the pencil, this cord over the left hand side cord, like so, just underneath the pencil and up through. I'll come back to you when I've done half a dozen of these so you can see what I'm achieving. But can you see that it's actually starting to swirl that way and also swirl this way? Come back to you in a minute. Well, there you go. You can actually see that it's now gone to a complete DNA, or a helix. We'll do one or two more just to show you what's going on. So this is the single DNA, you know. All the knots are tied by me from the left hand side. We'll do one more and I'll explain again how you achieve that. All we're doing is like half cobras really. I mean, if we'd carried on the normal way, we'd have ended up with a cobra rather than a helix. Right, so we got the left hand side over the stick or over the pencil. This one, which you are running out of cord, comes over the top, underneath, like so. Yeah, a bit awkward through the lens. Tighten down, and it gives you this really awesome effect of a helix. Yeah. When I said that I'd gone on some of them down and then back up, I would normally just now turn this over and carry on back down, so it gives you a much bigger, wider looking knot. But that's the basic DNA. We're going to go on to the double DNA now. I'll just cut myself a couple of pieces of cord and we use this as the core, another pencil. Bear with me. Right, so again, grab hold of a piece of cord to your length, colour and thickness, and tie the first half a cobra. Again, tying from the left. Seem to be a bit out of focus there. So up and through. And there we have our first knot. Yeah. Nice and tight. I'm looking very blurred. Oh, I need to get a bit closer, don't I? Right, so then we'll get a second cord, find its halfway point, loop it behind the pencil and tie our second half cobra, as I like to call it. Pull that one through, and then we'll tighten this one up. Right, so there we have two cords tied in half cobras, as I say. Now the orange one at the top there has naturally got to go back just slightly, because we're going to have a helix going round and a helix behind and a helix going forward. So to do a double helix, quite straightforward. We keep tying all the knots with the left hand side, but we start off by putting that orange one underneath the brown. And because this orange one on the right hand side goes underneath the brown, the orange one on the left hand side goes over the brown, so over this one. Tie our cobra and tighten. Now you'll see that that second knot goes behind the brown. Yeah, we'll just make sure that that's tight. I'm having a bit of trouble looking through this lens, but there we go. Right, so now it's the brown's turn. Yeah, so they're tight. The brown one underneath on the right hand side, it's going over the top this time, so we'll keep that one over the top. The orange on this one went over the top, so the opposite happens with the brown. So the brown goes across the pencil, this brown goes over that cord and back up through, and then we tighten that cobra. Yeah. Make sure that they're both nice and tight. Takes a few other knots to actually show what's actually happening. So we'll do another orange, and as you remember, the orange goes behind on the right hand side, so the orange comes underneath. The opposite on the left hand side. Instead of coming underneath, it stays on top, over the top of the brown. Yeah, half cobra. Tension is key as usual in most knots. This double one takes a little bit longer to start swirling around the pencil. I don't know if we can see it yet. No, not quite. Let's get another brown one done. So brown one on the right hand side goes over the top of the orange, and the brown one on the left hand side comes underneath the orange. Oh, sorry, that doesn't go there. That comes down here because we're tying all the knots to the left. So this brown that comes under the orange across the pencil. This one goes under and up through. Like so. Nice and tight. I know it's upside down, but will come good. Just starting to see it coming there now. I'm going to go offline and tie 2 or 3 more of those exactly the same. Just show you one more of those. Orange is next, so orange is underneath, because that was the top one originally. Yeah, underneath. Hold it there in its place. Orange one on this side, left hand side, goes over the top, forms the circle over the pencil, comes back up through, tighten, and can we see that it's twirling yet? Yeah, I think we can see that it's starting to twirl now. Let me do half a dozen more of those and I'll come back to you, and then we'll talk about how we do the tri corded one. See you shortly. But there we are. That looks pretty good. You can see that it's actually a twin helix going round there. I'll just give you a reminder on how we're going to do that. So we're brown next. Brown comes underneath, holds its place. Brown comes over the top on this side, over the top of that one. Loop, round, and underneath. Yep. Tighten up on the browns. Do one more. This brown goes over the top, well, goes over the top of the orange there. This brown comes underneath the orange. Loop. This one over the top of that cord, up through the hole, tighten. So that's the twin DNA, or double helix, some like to call it. Fantastic knot. I mean, obviously you can make it twist a bit more if you push it round a bit, but you can see the effect it has. Great for any of these sort of hangers that I call, you know, like on these. Really nice looking knot, finishes things off lovely. Right, so we've done the single, we've done the double, So now we're going to a triple. Yes, I've got another pencil. Nice pink pencil. I'll just cut some cords and I'll be back with you. Right, here's the first cord. We'll have a white. Tie that onto the core. Loop over. Right, so that's our first half cobra. Nice and tight. Next colour is going to be, I think we'll have the brown next. Sorry, the gold. Is it gold, copper? Orange. I'll call it orange. Just bringing it to halfway. Tie another half cobra there. Having a bit of trouble looking through the lens at the moment, but we're getting there. Right, so that's the second one. Tighten that one up. Nice. Remember we had the white one slightly, well, we had the top one slightly back, yeah? Put that slightly back there so that you got this knot just behind that knot. And then the third one will have this grey. If I can find the middle. Right. As our loop, we'll go underneath, back up through, and tighten. Right, but bring this knot up to here, and this one's got to go forward of the orange. Yeah, so you've got a knot there, knot there, knot there. Nice and tight. Yeah. Right, as we did before on the double, the top one on the right hand side has got to come underneath these two. Yeah, I'm going to hold it there. On the left hand side, we're going to come over those two with the white. Put those two behind. So we're going to leave those two orange and greys out of the knot now for the moment. Loop that round there and up through. And hopefully tighten. Nice and tight. Yeah. Right, next part of the knot, we're going to forget about these white ones. Yeah. The orange one is going to come underneath just one. Yeah. So that's underneath. The orange one on this side is going to go over the top of the grey. And then we'll form the knot. Back up through. Tighten. And by doing it this way, it stacks the oranges on top of each other, the whites on top of each other, and the greys on top of each other. So, to complete that motion, this grey doesn't have to go over anything or do anything, but this grey, so this grey seems to go over the top of everything. this grey seems to go underneath everything. We'll be doing this a few times, so you'll cotton on. So there's the knot, there's the half cobra. Took me ages to work this out, only to find that some clever person had actually called it a treble helix, and it was on YouTube. Took me about a week to work out how to do this knot in my head, and lots of trials. Yeah, so there we are. That's our first. Can you see that they're stacking on top of each other now? You can't really go wrong, because you can see that that stack's there, so that white one has definitely got to come underneath now. Yeah, look on the other side, this one's stacking up on top, so the white one's definitely got to go over the top. Now, I have seen photographs of a guy on the Ropeworks group who does this knot on rowing oars or paddles, paddles, and to actually fill up the paddle with the cords that he has, he does about 45 cords or even more to fill up the thickness of a paddle arm. Absolutely fantastic. I thought I was being clever by working out how to do a 3 and a 4 corded knot helix, when he's been doing loads and loads, and it looks really impressive. I must have a go one day. So that's the white one done again. So we went underneath. We forget about the white one. Put it out of your mind for the moment. Put it out up here out the way. We're going to concentrate on the orange and the brown. Yeah. Now, as I say, the white doesn't come into it. The brown comes under, because we come under on this side. Yeah. If I can get hold of it. Brown comes under the grey. Brown on that side goes over the grey, ignoring the white completely. Tie our knot. Right, so that was the brown. We'll put the grey. The grey, we don't want to know about the white and the gold, the orange anymore. We're just concentrating on, and forget about those two. This one comes underneath everything. This one goes over the top of everything, but there's nothing there to go over, if you like. Comes underneath and tighten up. That's pretty obvious how this actually all works out now. I mean, you need to keep that tension going, obviously. But the white is right at the back there. We want the white next. So it's got to come under. The white is readily available there. It doesn't have to do anything with these other cords. And there's our knot. And we should, with a bit of luck, start, well, I'll continue for, I mean, we've done the white there, we started with the white and finished on the grey, so we're finished on the grey. So the next one is the orange. Forget about the white. It's just got to come underneath the grey. Forget about the white here. Brown has got to go over the top of the grey. You can tell I've got my repetition voice on at the moment, but that's all it is repetition. Where's that gone? There we go. So brown. It can get a bit confusing with when you get to more chords, which you got your 3 that side and 3 this side. Yeah. But yeah, it can get confusing if you get one of these over that side and one of these over this side. The whole pattern goes out. Right, so there's our grey. It's got to be the grey next, doesn't it? There's our grey there, and up through. I'll do a couple more just to speed things up offline, and I'll come back to you. Well, there we are. You can see the 3 chords starting to spiral around the pencil. Let's just give you a little more before I sign off. So the back one is next, the white one comes underneath those 2, and we hold it there ready. The white comes down, it's next, goes round and up through. Find that one to tighten down. Haven't got a lot of cord left actually. That's that one nice and tight. So we're still on this side. We forget about the whites. White can go out the way, and we're dealing with now with just the brown and the gold. So I keep saying gold, it's ginger or orange. Orange goes underneath the grey, and we hold it ready. Orange goes over the top of the grey, forms the knot. Will form the knot if I have anything to do with it. Very difficult looking through a cam. Well, it's an iPad. I'm trying to look through the lens. Right, so one more. So the grey doesn't do anything. It doesn't have to go over anything. It just comes down, holds its place. This grey comes underneath because they all come underneath this side. Round it, up through, and tighten. Now I was going to add a chord and show you 4, but I think it'd be interesting for people to find out themselves on how to tie 4 chords onto a helix. I hope this has been beneficial. Obviously I've got to edit all this now and take out the bits that I didn't think necessary. Yeah, not the best quality because I'm doing it on this iPad. I don't have any proper camera system, but hopefully that gets over to you how we here at Chord Art do a helix, a treble helix. Thanks a lot.